When you're changing lanes or merging with traffic, there's one thing that you absolutely need to be doing. It's so simple, but a lot of riders skip it. And honestly, that blows my mind. In this video, I'll show you why skipping it is one of the biggest mistakes you can make on a motorcycle. I'll use clips from my own rides to show you a few different kinds of it, and later in the video I'll show you a moment where even though I did everything right, I still could have ended up in a crash. Head checks. It's one of those things that almost every rider gets taught when they start out, but there's more to it than just the basic checks you do when moving off from a standstill. I'm talking about the advanced head checks, the ones you need when you're actually out on the roads. General awareness of your surroundings, merging, changing lanes, or even just positioning yourself for safety. These aren't just to tick a box or follow the rules, they could literally save your life. It's kind of like when you were a kid learning to cross the road. Look both ways before you step out. The same goes for riding. You need to look before you make your move. So here's what I've learned about head checks. First of all, there's a few different kinds of head checks that I've found to be pretty essential when you're out riding on the roads. Head checks for your surroundings, lane change head checks, quick lane change head checks, saving my bacon head checks.
Whoa! Taxi.
When I worked on the sand dunes, the quads didn't even have mirrors. So head checks were my main way of spotting other vehicles on the dunes. That part of the dunes was classed as a public road, so there was all kinds of craziness going on. It was a proper Wild West at times. You literally had to keep your eyes peeled so you didn't get cleaned up by a ute or have a head-on collision with a car at the top of one of the dunes. Now let's go through each of the clips in more detail so you can get familiar with each of these different kinds of head checks and see why they're so important. Okay, so here's the clip from the start of the video. This actually shows two kinds of head checks in here. So first of all, it's kind of general awareness of my surroundings as I'm coming up to a left-hand turn, and then I'm actually going to be merging into quite fast moving traffic. So I then need to do kind of like a standard head check for changing lanes, although it's a little bit more critical than that because I'm not in a lane that I could stay in if I wanted to. It's a merging lane, so eventually it merges into the lane next to you, so it forces you to merge into that. I don't know what it is with people in the Newcastle area, but sometimes they really don't know what they're doing when it comes to these merging lanes. And literally in this same spot, a couple of days later, I was actually in a car and someone had stopped in this merging lane that I'm just about to show you. They were literally stationary, indicating that they were trying to join, but it's like, bro, you've got to keep moving and find your gap. You've got to match the speed of the traffic coming across. I get it, it's rush hour, it's difficult and all that kind of thing, but people behind were smashing their horns. But yeah, you've just got to match that flow of traffic, check your surroundings, check your blind spots, all that kind of stuff. Whether you're in a car, a truck, van, motorbike, whatever it is, you got to match the speed of that traffic that you're joining into their flow, and then you've got to take your opportunity and go. And that's what head checks on a motorcycle are so important for, is that critical moment where you're about to merge or change lanes, that kind of thing. So here you can see me riding along. I'm changing lanes here, but I didn't do a head check because there wasn't going to be anyone there because it was just starting. And now I'm going to start doing my kind of general awareness check. So I'm looking over to the right hand side. I'm not moving my head too much, I can just use my eyes and I'll see the traffic coming across, and I've put some arrows on just to highlight that, but they're not really the ones I'm worried about. So now I'm going to start to check my general kind of vicinity, and it's not even this car here in red that I'm worried about. It's this area here that I've highlighted in red, because that's the lane that I'm trying to join, like I just explained. And just in front of me where I haven't highlighted, that's the merging lane, and that is going to end, and it forces you to merge. But by that point, you might not be in a very good position to merge. So you've really got to do your head checks, check that the danger area that you want to get into is clear so you can do that safely. And head checks is a massive part of that. So to get into this area that I've highlighted in red, basically as quickly but as smoothly as you can, or maybe not quickly, sometimes you've got to be super patient, but it helps if you know the road. Like, I'm pretty familiar with this, so I know that this is a short merging lane, and this is the main road from this area into the city. So it's pretty busy, especially during rush hour. So you just got to be good. You just got to get good at merging into traffic. It's just one of those things you got to get better at. And yeah, it's nerve-wracking in the beginning. And as the years have gone on, like year one, I found it, kind of hard, but you don't really have any choice. You just got to do it. You can't do what that car was doing and just stop, especially on a motorbike. You'd get smashed from behind, like I showed in a video a couple of weeks ago. You got to be really careful of that. So yeah, the last thing you'd want to do would be stop. You've got to keep going. So I run the clip. So I've done my head check, so now I'm going to move across. And I did one final one, so happy days. We're in there now, we're all good, we're cruising along, matching our speed to the flow of traffic, just checking our surroundings that we're all good, and we'll move on to another clip. I'm going to pause it here. So this is one of the head checks that you're probably going to do most often. So it's a common head check. It's basically for changing lanes. So I alluded to it a moment ago, saying it wasn't the one that I was doing in that clip, but in this clip, it is what I'm doing. So basically I'm cruising along, I'm in this lane, there's another lane that I could go into if I wanted to, that's on my right. I can see traffic just ahead of me backing up. So basically I'm gonna start doing my head checks because I wanna change lanes. So I normally do a couple of checks, 1, 2, and then just as I go, I do my third, and then I'm in the lane, cruising along, past the traffic that's queued up on the left-hand side, and that's it pretty much. Okay, let's move on to the next one. So this is similar to the one we just looked at, but this one, it's essentially the same thing, but I got to do it super fast. And in this instance, there's a couple of trucks ahead and they're stopping or something, and I see this and I got to react quick. I know from when I've been riding, I generally try and have an idea of what's around me, escape routes, that kind of thing. But then if something happens and I got to move, doing my head checks is something that's gonna have a massive impact on whether I get through this safely or not. So when I run the clip, basically you can see the truck just ahead. You can't quite make out the second one, maybe you can on a big screen. So you can see the two trucks just up ahead. I'm like, what is going on? Spidey senses are tingling. And then all of a sudden I'm like, Struth, I gotta act here, otherwise I'm gonna be in the back of this truck. So yeah, I'm like, okay, I gotta move. But before I move, just like I said in the intro, like when you're learning to cross the road as a kid, so you gotta look before you move. So here we go, I run the clip. So coming up, I've suddenly realized, okay, I gotta move. So head check, and across, and then one final one, and then boom, I'm around the issue, pull back in. I'm like, whoa, that was like pretty gnarly. I say thanks to the Jimny coming through because they were cool. They didn't like get up the back of me or whatever. Yeah, so that's basically the head check that I mentioned before, the one you do most commonly, like your standard head check for changing lanes. It was just done super fast, just to make sure that I could go, if that Jimny had been maybe, I don't know, 10, 20 meters further along the road, or 20, 30 foot, whatever your units are, I don't want to suddenly pull across and bounce off a Jimny and then fly off the other side of the road, or even worse, pull in just in front of them and end up under their wheels or something. Like, yeah, you don't want that to happen. So you're basically checking, like the clip where I highlighted that area in red, you're checking that danger area to see if it's free, and if it's free, if it's clear, then you can move. So we'll move on to the next clip. This is an example of head check saving my bacon. So basically I'm cruising along, we're coming up to an intersection, it's actually a roundabout. So the area I'm in on this ride, I know these roundabouts are danger spots. People just basically either don't know how to use a roundabout, or they just behave badly at them, or they're clueless or whatever, not looking for motorcycles, that kind of thing. So you got to be super careful. And in this one, slightly different, like my spidey senses just felt like someone behind me was doing something weird or aggressive or whatever. And it's like, yeah, I could just feel it. So I started doing head checks because I was thinking I've got to merge here, I've got to change lanes. And I just felt like the vehicle coming up behind, I wasn't certain they were going to try and push in, but I was thinking, something's odd here. The first car, you can even hear in my helmet chat, like to myself, that I was happy with the first car. It's like, here you go, buddy, no worries, cool. And then I'm thinking, okay, cool, I'm gonna start merging myself, but I could just feel there was something there. And I've showed that with the little emergency symbol icon or danger icon or whatever. So I run the clip, So yeah, this is the first car coming through, happy with them. And then I could just feel, even though I was indicating and I'm gonna start coming across, I was just like, nah, this isn't cool. I can just feel it. And then boom, there you go, taxi. Taxi's pushed in, they wanna get ahead of me, you know, okay, fine. But as a motorcycle rider, I'm pretty vulnerable. Is it worth it? You know, now they get stuck in traffic. It's crazy because on this bit of road, once we merge, you can't overtake because it's oncoming traffic, and the taxi then just sits there for the next 10-15 minutes. So why they did that, I don't know why they did that, but hey, they managed to get ahead of me, good on them. So let's move to the next clip. Okay, so this is the one I mentioned at the start of the video where I said there was a situation where I did everything correct. I did the head checks as I should. So I did all my like spatial awareness. In this instance, it's a roundabout. So I'm looking to the right-hand side to check the vehicles coming around the roundabout. I'm looking to the left-hand side to see people who might be coming on. I've done everything you should do with your ched checks. Cheddar cheese check. I've done everything you should do with your head checks. Check the lane next to me. You can see a solid white line. Where I live, that means don't cross that line. It's not as severe as a double white line, but it's kind of like, hey, probably don't cross this line, okay? But cars do. But anyway, so in this situation, I've done everything I should do, but there was something else I had to put in the mix as well so that I didn't end up in the back of the vehicle just in front. So I'm gonna run the clip. So I'm doing my checks here, checking to the right, just checking that it's clear. Then I'll check to the left. So I'm doing quite a lot of head checks here. That ute is actually in the right-hand lane here, and then it goes over into the left-hand lane, and I'm thinking they're gonna go. Then a car turns to the left into the fish market, and that ute has to slam on their brakes. And if I had really let rip here, I could have ended up in the tray of the ute in front. Checking to the right again. So if I wasn't doing roughly 40 kilometers an hour, if I was like right up there doing the speed limit or above, there's a rolling roadblock in front of me. There's a parked car to the left or a line of parked cars. There's the ute that's stopping in front of me, and then there's the other car to its right in the right-hand lane. So I wouldn't have much room to maneuver. Yeah, okay, I could do a power wheelie through the gap, you know, but yeah, if I wasn't being mellow on the throttle, being chilled and laid back and thinking, you know, I want to improve as a rider. Yeah, I'm a beginner, so I think maybe erring on the side of caution is maybe a good thing. And just the fact that, yes, I've done all my head checks coming up to that intersection, coming into the roundabout, on the roundabout, off of the roundabout. But if I hadn't also mixed in being chilled into the mix, I could have ended up in the tray of the ute in front or through the back window. So yeah, and all I had to do to not become part of that, I'll just run it back. So you can see that on the roundabout, I'm doing about 35, then coming off of the roundabout, I start to speed up, so throttle on, you can see the speed's going up. And then when I see the danger, throttle off, speed goes down, and then back on. So I would have mixed in a bit of rear brake if I didn't use the front brake, just to illuminate the brake lights so that people behind me knew that I was stopping or slowing down. But yeah, that just being chilled, that had a big difference right there, because I could have, if I was being more aggressive with my riding or more spirited, yeah, I could have got mixed up in that one. Recap, head checks are one of those simple yet vital habits that every rider needs to make second nature. Whether you're just taking in your general surroundings, you're changing lanes, merging with traffic, or just checking for hazards, they can be the difference between a good ride and a bad ride, or something even worse. The key takeaway, always look before you move and do it in the right way for the situation. So what else should you be doing in combination with your head checks? I'll show you that in this video here. If it isn't up yet, hit subscribe so you don't miss it when it drops. Until then, thanks for watching till the end, and I'll catch you in the next one. Ched checks? Cheddar cheese check.